Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson with Miss Rafa. Today we're going to practice listening. So if you're ready, let's get started. Listening and speaking. Page 25, Student Book. A. You're going to hear Mr. Faisal talking on a program about how to succeed at learning to do something new. Before you listen, match these phrasal verbs with their meanings. I want to take up diving. It's an adventurous sport. Start something new. I'm going to give up learning Chinese because it's too difficult. Stop or abandon. If I like this job, I'll carry on next year. Continue. Now B.
Read these 7 tips. Now listen to the programme. Tick the 5 things Mr. Faisal says.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of How to Live. Today's programme is about taking up new activities and how to succeed at them. With us is the manager of a big company in Damascus, Mr. Faisal. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Faisal, what tips can you give our listeners who are thinking of learning to do something new?
Well, first of all, I would say choose wisely. On the one hand, don't choose something completely unrealistic. For example, don't decide to take up sailing if you can't swim, or parachute jumping if you're afraid of heights. But on the other hand, don't generalize and think that just because you aren't very good at one sport, you won't be able to do any sports at all. I mean, just because you are bad at gymnastics in school doesn't mean you might not love playing tennis.
So think positive.
Definitely. And never think you'll be bad at something before you've even tried it.
Okay, so let's imagine I've started to learn to play tennis and I'm finding it very hard work.
Well, first, don't give up too quickly. Carry on for at least a few months. It often takes time to begin to enjoy learning something new. Another thing that can help, if you're having problems learning something, is to give it a break and then try again, perhaps a month or 2 later.
But what if I carry on and I find I really don't have a talent for tennis?
I think the important thing is not to be too ambitious. I mean, if you've never done much sport and you decide to learn to play tennis, don't expect to become the next Wimbledon champion as Roger Federer. Just aim to enjoy what you're doing, not to be the best in the world at it.
But if, even after all this, I still feel I'm not getting anywhere?
Well, sometimes you do have to accept it and say, okay, this really isn't my thing, and you need to give it up. But why not try something else? There are lots of other things you can learn to do. But remember that if you take up an activity that you're really interested in, even if you aren't very good at it, you'll make new friends because you'll be meeting other people who have similar interests to you.
So it might be good for my love life.
Exactly.
Dr. Faisal, thank you very much.
Read these 7 tips. Tick the 5 things Mr. Faisal says. Be realistic when you choose to do something. Tick. You should always take up a new activity at the beginning of the year. No. If you're not good at one sport, it doesn't mean you'll be bad at all sports. Tick. Keep trying and don't give up an activity before you have given it a good chance. Tick. Don't think you're going to be the best in the world when learning something new. Tick. You should always take up a new activity with a close friend. No. Learning something new enables you to meet new people. Tick. Now, do you think fears lead to failure and limit your success? Let's move on to speaking. Discuss these questions with a partner. Were there any failures that made your life better? Mention them. Do you think being optimistic is important for success? Why? What does the writer mean in his saying below? There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. Now let's move on to the activity book. Page 19.
Listen to the extract and choose the correct answer, A, B or C. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Although a summary of his basketball career and influence on the game inevitably fails to do it justice, as a phenomenal athlete with a unique combination of fundamental soundness, grace, speed, power, artistry, improvisational ability, and an unquenchable competitive desire, Jordan single-handedly redefined the NBA superstar. He was a short-height boy early in childhood, due to which he often used to get rejected during the selection processes. After being grown up and started playing like a basketball player, he even failed to hit over 9,000 shots and ultimately lost over 300 games for 26 times. He got frustrated a lot, but his dedication and consistency paved his way towards success. Here's what he said about failure. I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I have missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
Who's the most famous basketball player in history? Michael Jordan. What did he look like in his childhood? Short height. How many shots did he fail to hit? Over 9,000 shots. What paved his way to success? Dedication and consistency. What was, in his opinion, the reason of success? His failures. Now speaking. Have you ever read or watched a good success story about someone? Tell the class. Who is your good role model in life? Tell your class about his or her characteristics. How has he or she inspired you? That's everything for today. Wish you all the best.